but I think you reminded us that this is a land-grant university, one of the leaders in agricultural research, going back 150 years. This has been a state that was founded on agriculture, and we continue to lead in terms of the research and technology we're doing. And that's why there are only 8 of these grants awarded around the country, and we're one of those $10 million grants because of the excellence that UConn brings to this. And it also is a reminder, Tom, that the university continues in this middle of this COVID world. I'm so proud of the fact, by the way, you mentioning in terms of what we're doing in terms of grants, 280 million, a big increase going forward. And I was also reminded that donations to the UConn Foundation are up as well. So we're creating new models going forward, leveraging off of our strengths. And Tom, you and your team, and that's what we've been able to do here. And I'll let the agricultural experts give you a little more detail about exactly what that means. You guys should have explained it to me before I got up here. But I'm really proud of what a difference this is going to make. And my wife's a vegetarian, so she's going to be particularly happy. I just want to say something else. In about a week, I think in exactly a week, UConn on August 10th is going to lay out its reopening plan. And it's going to be strictly based upon the metrics. And we're looking hard at the numbers and making sure that we continue to have an infection rate that's very low, and making sure that we lead with public health in terms of the decision we make about reopening our schools and keeping UConn going. And on a personal basis, we're doing the same thing for K through 12 education. As you know, there's a fair amount of discussion about it. How can you do it? How can you do it safely? What's the mix of in-classroom versus distance learning? And, in my instinct, it's probably in many ways easier to get a third grade back in, a little easier that they can cohort as a one class, a little easier for that teacher there, a little perhaps more complicated when we bring in students from not just around the state, but around the region, around the country, and around the world here to this amazing campus, University of Connecticut. And this is true of our campuses around the state, because we fortunately have one of the great university systems in the country, and people around the world want to come. And how can we do that safely? And Tom and I have spent a lot of time talking about that over the last couple of months. As you know, we put in place a reopen committee led by Rick Levin, who had run Yale, and also he had run Coursera, so he had a mix of distance learning and a College of Residence Life. We've got in place strict protocols in terms of testing for people coming back, quarantining in terms of people coming back. I've got to say, Kathy and Greg working very strongly in terms of making sure the community knows that we take their safety and public health seriously as well. And these are the directions we're going to be able to roll out in the next week when it comes to UConn, and very soon thereafter when it comes to our K through 12 education. And just a little heads up, as you probably have heard, we've tried to lead with science as a state every step of the way, and doing only based upon public health metrics going forward. And we've had Scott Gottlieb and Zeke Emanuel and epidemiology, and obviously Dr. Coe. And today, right now, still scheduled, we're going to have another leading infectious disease person, probably the one most credible voice coming out of Washington, D.C., the voice I listen to, the voice that's going to give us some confidence that what we're doing appropriately, and we know we can change course if we have to. So the expert we're going to have at our 4 p.m. briefing this afternoon is Dr. Anthony Fauci. Thank you, everybody.